Chelsea fans won't need reminding, they have been terrible of late. They've lost 5 of their last 7 Premier League matches. Today, losing at home against Southampton. That bounce after that big victory against Spurs certainly didn't materialise. What's wrong with them?
What's wrong with them is going forward, they're inexperienced.
This is Southampton. You can see 2 goals against Southampton.
They're inexperienced. You just look at the results, they're up and down. They're not consistent.
Before that run, they'd won their last 6.
Yeah, but listen, when you get a bunch of young players, right? They've got no baggage, no nothing, there's no expectation. When Chelsea start the season, everybody's... Is Frank going to get the sack before Christmas? And how is he going to cope with all these young players?
But Jorginho, Kante, Azpilicueta, Willian, they're not young, are they?
So the only one you've said there plays up front. You've got a front 3 of Hudson-Odoi, Abraham and Willian, right? You've got 2 young players and Hudson-Odoi hardly played last year and has hardly played this year, so he's got no experience. Tammy Abraham in his first year as a bona fide centre forward in a big team, and the experienced guy is Willian, who doesn't always play because he's inconsistent. So you stick the inexperience and the inconsistent together.
Right.
You look at the results. It's not in the games that they haven't played well. They just haven't. The games they haven't won, they haven't created anything. And then, by the way, when you take them off, you're bringing on Mount, inexperienced, or Pulisic, who is relatively. So don't be surprised when your team's inconsistent going forward when all your forward players don't have experience.
So I understand that point, but and you're right. It's a young team, it's a young manager. You expect some inconsistency, but you're at home to Southampton here.
It was a classic counter-attacking game, Shaka.
The second goal that Southampton scored started with a throw that they had 10 yards from Chelsea's corner flag. That they worked to the right, worked out all the way back to their centre halves, and then threw again. That was not about counter-attacking. That was just Southampton showing Chelsea how to play football. And when you have Frank Lampard again searching for excuses, saying that we couldn't find a way around. Listen, and when I was looking at this game, I couldn't help but think about our same criticisms of Manchester United. Similarly, a young manager in games that they should be winning, finding it hard to break down the opposition, and a team who somehow get themselves up for big games, yet still are dropping points against teams that you would expect them to beat. That's what we've been seeing of Chelsea over the last couple of weeks.
Gab, is this all down to the fact that they couldn't bring in new faces? And will this be a catalyst and move quickly in the market when it opens next month?
I think they're starting to reevaluate a few things. I think they're coming to terms with the fact that, Stevie talked about inexperience there. I think there's also a physical aspect to it. In the case of Hudson-Odoi, he's the kind of injury he had, you're probably not going to see the real Hudson-Odoi probably until next year, given the type of injury he had. Tammy Abraham has played a bazillion minutes this season. Last season he did it, and last season and 2 years ago, I think when he was at Bristol City, it was a similar thing. There was a drop at some point because it's very difficult to go from playing youth team football and maybe you play a season in the championship to playing European football and the travel and everything that goes with it. I think it takes a physical toll as well as the inexperience. So I think from the club's perspective, and I don't know how on board Lampard is, maybe you take the opportunity of, if Giroud does leave, maybe you bring in a veteran who can add quality so that perhaps you can pace Tammy Abraham a little bit more. Maybe they can share time. Maybe you might see a little bit more of Pedro if they don't move him on. They do have older players in the mix as well, and maybe that's an answer. But you rattled off the guys they had out there. They're not all kids. The guys at the back aren't kids, except for Tomori. The guys in midfield aren't kids. So I think it goes a little deeper than that.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.